Yeah. Of course, Messi missed this penalty. But did you watch the full game? He assisted the first goal and scored the second one for Argentina. You may ask yourself how he did it with this age? But what if I told you, the greatest weapon in football isn't speed, strength, or even finishing? What if the most dangerous player in history was the one who seemed to move the least? Every weekend, thousands of professional footballers step onto the pitch. They're faster than ever, stronger than ever, better trained than ever. But only one player made millions of people stop whatever they were doing. That player was Lionel Messi. He scored 6 goals in the group stage of the 2026 World Cup. More than Mbappe. Haaland. He has made a hat-trick and great goals so far. But how can he do it in such an age? He is 39 years old, but he still can do such things. Can we consider it that he is different than any player in the history of football? And here's the strange part. If you watched him for the first time, you might not even understand why everyone called him the greatest. He wasn't the tallest. He wasn't the strongest. He rarely celebrated like a superstar. Sometimes, he would spend entire minutes simply walking. Yet somehow, every defender on the pitch was terrified of him. Why? Because while everyone else was playing football, Messi was reading it. He wasn't reacting to the game. If you really want to understand Lionel Messi, stop watching the ball. Start watching him. Because the most important thing Messi does happens before he even touches it. Every great footballer reacts to the game. Messi predicts it. And that's a massive difference. Watch him carefully for just 30 seconds. There are moments when he isn't running. He isn't calling for the ball. Sometimes, he isn't even involved in the play. He's just walking. To some people, it looks lazy. But it's probably the hardest thing to do in football. Because while everyone else is chasing the ball, Messi is collecting information. Every few seconds, he lifts his head. He checks over his shoulder. He scans the field. Again and again. By the time the pass reaches him, he already knows where the pressure is coming from. He already knows where the space will appear. And most importantly, he already knows what he's going to do. Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger once explained it perfectly. The great players have information before they receive the ball. That's exactly what separates Messi. He's not making decisions after controlling the ball. He's making them before the pass is even played. Researchers who studied elite footballers found that world-class players constantly scan their surroundings before receiving possession. Messi doesn't just do it. He does it more often and more efficiently than almost anyone else. Every glance gives him another piece of information. Where the defender is, which foot he's standing on, who is stepping out, who is hesitating, which teammate is making a blind side run. It's like solving a puzzle before anyone else even realizes there's a puzzle. This is why defenders often look confused against Messi. Not because he's faster, because he's already one move ahead. They're reacting. He's anticipating. One day, Xavi said something that perfectly describes playing with Messi. He sees things that nobody else sees. That wasn't a compliment. It was an explanation. When everyone else sees 2 passing options, Messi sees 5. When defenders think they've closed every angle, he somehow finds another. Most people think dribbling is about beating defenders. For Messi, it never was. Dribbling isn't the goal. It's the solution. Every touch has a purpose. Every movement creates an advantage. Instead, every touch is incredibly short. Just enough to keep moving, but never enough to lose control. That tiny distance changes everything. And that's what makes him different. If you watch Messi in slow motion, something immediately stands out. He almost never pushes the ball far away from his feet. Instead, every touch is incredibly short. Just enough to keep moving, but never enough to lose control. That tiny distance changes everything, because the closer the ball stays to his body, the less time defenders have to react. They can't predict when he'll pass. They can't predict when he'll shoot. And they definitely can't predict when he'll accelerate. Former Thierry Henry once described it perfectly. You think you've got him, and then he's gone. That's exactly how defending Messi feels. For 1 second, you believe you've closed every angle. The next second, you're chasing his shadow. One of the biggest myths about Messi is that he's simply quick. He's not the fastest player in football. Never was. What makes him almost impossible to stop is something far more important: timing. Messi doesn't run fast all the time. He waits. He slows the game down. He lets defenders settle. And then, in a split second, he explodes. That sudden change of rhythm is what breaks defenders, not top speed. Sports scientists often talk about acceleration over the first few meters. That's where Messi was exceptional. Those first 2 or 3 steps created enough separation to make the defender recover from behind instead of challenging from the front. And once that happened, the duel was already over. Another reason Messi's dribbling feels different is balance. Where other players need 3 steps, Messi needs 1. That means every movement is faster, cleaner, more efficient. For almost 2 decades, football kept asking the same question. How do you stop Lionel Messi? Every generation of defenders had a different answer. Press him early, double team him, force him onto his right foot, stay compact, don't let him turn. And yet, year after year, the result was always the same. Messi found a way. Some of the greatest defenders in football history have admitted that playing against him felt different, not because he was stronger, not because he was faster, but because he made every defensive decision feel wrong. Step forward, and he'd slip past you. Stay back, and he'd pick out the perfect pass. Bring a second defender, and someone else became free. There was never a perfect solution. People often compare Messi to other legends. Who's faster? Who's stronger? Who scored more spectacular goals? But maybe that's the wrong question. Because Messi's greatness was never about being the absolute best at one single thing. It was about combining everything: elite finishing, elite decision-making, and above all, consistency. He didn't produce magic once a season. He produced it almost every week, for nearly 20 years. That's why coaches trusted him with complete freedom, not because he ignored tactics, but because he understood them better than anyone else. For years, people have argued about who the greatest footballer of all time is. Maybe that debate will never end, but this video was never about comparing Lionel Messi to anyone else. It was about understanding why he feels different. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to see more deep dives into the tactics, stories, and brilliance behind football's greatest players, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create more videos like this. And let me know in the comments, what makes Messi different in your eyes? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.